It is simply impossible to achieve long-term health and happiness if you hate yourself.
100%. This is so important because I have a memory of a point in my life where that changed, just like boom, just like somebody turned the switch. Because I was on the edge of, I could have been diagnosed as manic depressive. Well, I'm happy most of the time, but once it started going wrong, then it was like, this is wrong. And then I give myself the abuse verbally. Oh, you're stupid. You're not good enough. What's wrong with you, Lipton? And I'd be doing that. And I was in my lab and I just spent a procedure that took about an hour to prepare for the experiment, and if you mess it up just a little bit, you have to start all over again. The third time that day, I messed it all up, and now I'm really upset. I spent the whole damn day doing this. It didn't work, and then I'm getting, oh, you idiot, you can't do anything right. And I was giving myself like a parent on my shoulder telling me,
that's not good enough.
And I'll never forget, I was alone in the lab, and I hear this voice, don't you have anything better to do than to listen to this crap? And I looked around, I started to laugh because I said, sure, I'd rather go to a movie. Do you want to continue this conversation or do you want to do something else? That was the moment of empowerment that was so great because it said, stop. The next time I started to get a little depressed, first thing that came back was the humor of that, and I'd laugh and I go, okay, I'll do something else. After 3 or 4 times, guess what? I've never been depressed since that time. Sit there and play it over and over and over again, which makes you go downhill. I have a choice. Do I want to listen to this stuff or do I want to do something else?
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 video with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because running the business is hard, and waking up every day and getting to work when you're all by yourself is hard. And the thing that saved me, that continues to inspire me, motivate me, give me hope, inspiration, ideas, is looking at the stories of people who've done a lot more than me. And I learn strategies, I get motivation, and it gets me to believe in myself to go off and attack the day. And so I hope this video inspires you to do the same as well. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Bruce Lipton, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2 is learn to manage stress.
Everyone thinks disease is related to genes, and I'll tell you what, less than 1% of disease is connected to genes. That up to 90% of illness is stress related. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, what's the consequence? I'll tie it into the corporate thing in a second, because the first 2 consequences of putting stress hormones in your body are, let's go back a few 100,000 years when the only stress was the saber-toothed tiger chasing you. So stress is based on your ability to escape. And your ability to escape is to use your arms and legs. And I said, well, you want all the energy in your arms and legs because, you don't have to worry about the gallbladder right now. That's not relevant. The saber-toothed tiger's coming. So there are 3 things that I want to bring up. So number 1, the first 2 are physical, okay? Number 1 is stress hormones cause the blood vessels in the gut, this area, to shut down. In fact, when you first feel fear, there's like a butterflies in the stomach, queasy feeling. That's actually the blood vessels squeezing shut. And I say, why should the blood vessels squeeze shut? And it's like, you don't need to maintain the body if you're trying to escape the tiger. So by squeezing the blood vessels shut, you send the blood to the arms and legs, more energy. And most important part, especially in today's world, is that stress hormones shut down the immune system. That's a function. It's so effective that when a doctor wants to transplant an organ into a foreign person and they don't want the recipient's immune system to reject it, they give the patient stress hormones before the transplant because stress hormones shut down the immune system. Reason is simple. If you've ever been sick, sometimes you don't even have the energy to get out of bed. And I go, well, if you have a bacterial infection and a saber-toothed tiger chasing you, it's like, well, who cares about the damn bacteria? Because if the tiger catches you, the bacteria is not really a problem anymore. And so the immune system is shut down, which opens us up to a problem. And in today's stressed out world, the amount of illness on this planet with all the money we put into healthcare is rising all of the time. And I go, it's because of the stresses that we're dealing with that's causing this.
Rule number 3 is build good habits.
5% of the day we move toward wishes, desires, what we want. Even, the addict is like, yeah, I don't want this. This is not my life. I really want this and all that. And then I say, yeah, but that only works 5% of the day. 95% of the day you're coming from the habit. Yeah, but the habit was other people's behavior that you put into the subconscious first. And so 95% of the day, you're not operating from your wishes and desires. You're operating from a program.
Sure.
Okay. But now here's the catch, and then we'll get onto it. And
Sure.
that is this. By definition, if I am thinking all of a sudden, I say, what am I doing next Wednesday? I go into my head and I'm thinking about what I'm doing, what's on Wednesday. By definition, I'm not paying attention to what's going on. So that doesn't mean like you're walking down the street, you have a thought, and then you freeze while the thought happens. And then after the thought, then you start walking back down the street again. No, if you're walking down the street and you have a thought, the moment you have a conscious mind engaged in thought, the functions are defaulted to the subconscious program. So in other words, I know how to walk. It's a habit. I learned that. So I don't need my conscious mind to tell me how to walk. So my conscious mind goes in thought. I'm still walking. So whatever behavior I'm doing, driving a car, I don't have to pay attention to what's going on when I'm driving a car. I mean, the joke when I lecture about it is I say, look, I've been in a car with a passenger. We get so engaged in a conversation. My conscious mind is tied up with the conversation. And then all of a sudden I look out the window of the car and it dawns on me, I haven't paid attention to the road for the last 5 minutes.
Right. How did I get home?
Yeah, and here's what the neat part is. Well, look, driving is, once you practice and learn how to drive, practice makes habit. Habit means that the subconscious mind doesn't need you to explain how to drive and what to watch out for. The subconscious mind's already got a program.
Rule number 4 is focus on your goals.
I've called Rory McIlroy, who he was leading the Masters golf tournament a few years back. He had a big lead, and this is just one example. I'm not having a go at Rory. This is just, it's common in all sports where people almost self-implode. And for a few holes, like he could barely swing the golf club. And what was really interesting is, as I was sort of reading a lot about it, trying to figure out what's going on here, it's this conscious subconscious, again, where he knows how to drive the golf ball, better than most people on the planet.
Yes.
So he's playing usually from his subconscious. The patterns are in, he knows how to shape the ball right to left to right, whatever. But in that moment where it's like, oh man, I'm leading the Masters, I need to be really careful now. He's trying to think, well, certainly this is what people say. I don't know what was in his mind, but you're almost overthinking. You're now trying to control something that you could naturally do, as you say, driving.
Yeah.
If you were thinking about when do I put the clutch down, or what timing is it with the accelerator, if you drive a manual, it's the same kind of thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. But in fact, really when he's playing the game, he's playing it in the conscious mind, in the sense that he has a vision. I'm going to hit this ball and it's going to go into that hole over there. Very important, because there's a destination and there's a means to that destination. It turns out, and this is really most important, is if you focus on the destination and not on the means, let the system, which is so powerful, it will get there without you telling it how to get there. But when you start to interfere and say, okay, now I got to make sure I swing it right, my head's level, my grip is right, and all of a sudden you're putting all these details in. It's like, no, don't focus on the details. You forgot what the end was. The end was the ball is supposed to go over there. And so that starts to come in, because now you're trying to control everything with with this manual control. And it's like, no, you don't have to have the manual control. Matter of fact, that gets in the way. Yeah. The body knows what you want. You don't have to tell it how to get there. That's a big issue in our lives, because I want to be successful. How? Oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. And I say, oh, you're planning all these things, and your conscious mind is not even the subconscious is 1,000,000 times more powerful a computer than the conscious mind. So I say, you're going to take this little small conscious mind and try to run the bigger computer. It's like, that doesn't work. Let go of the control. And this is the whole thing. I mean, it's I just came to my mind. A lot of people say, let go, let God, or something like that. Some phrase that people always say. And I go, well, that's actually the way to do it. Focus on what you want, but don't try and tell the universe how it's going to happen. Don't tell them that I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. I go, no, you just focus on what you want. The intelligence of the supercomputer, the subconscious supercomputer, it won't handle it unless you put your hands into the machine. I say, keep your hands out of the machine. Focus on where that ball is going to go. I mean, he already practiced. Remember, I said we did the habit, we did the practice. Whether you're driving a car or hitting the golf ball, practice. You don't think about the details of driving when you're driving. They just automatically. You could have conversation, you could be off in thought, and you're still driving the car.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is change your limiting programs.
Here's a simple truth. The first 40 years was struggle life. When I did the Psyche and all that stuff, the last 30 years has been the most enjoyment I could ever imagine in life. That I even wrote a book called The Honeymoon Effect, because the harmony of what love brings into the world, when people are on a honeymoon, it's like heaven on earth. And I say, for 30 years, I've been living heaven on earth. And every aspect of my life is so beautiful. And why? I changed the limiting programs through the process of Psyche. And when I put in programs that gave me the values I wanted, the joy, which is so really important about it, is I didn't have to work on it. Once the program was in there, the subconscious running 95% of the day automatically, without my even participating consciously, I was finding heaven without even making an effort to get there. And I am living in this most wonderful life. No doctors. No pharmaceutical drugs, no insurance.
You either.
No.
Me either.
Why should I spend the money for insurance? I haven't had insurance since 1992.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And the fact is what? Who needs it? I'm not planning to do that.
Right.
And the idea is what we really ultimately come down to is life isn't a bunch of accidents that we move through. Life is a bunch of creations. And if your life is a struggle, we always have a tendency to say, oh, the universe is against me, or something like that.
Victim mentality.
I'm a victim. I can't, it's out of my control. That's the problem, not me.
Right.
And once you understand the basis of the new biology and the Psyche process, you start to recognize, wait, I am a co-creator of my life. And if my programs are not really good, then my life will not be really good. Changing those programs, and here I am today with you. And look how beautiful this woman is.
Look how
she
wonderful he
sparkles
is.
and shines. Why? When we clean up the problems that we acquired in our development, then life comes to us. You don't even have to go out and chase it anymore. And that is the 100% difference. First 40 years, I'm gonna go get that success. Last 30 years, open the door. Oh, here you are. Thank you very much. Yeah. So all I can say is the most exciting experience in my life was to take back control.
Rule number 6 is overcome your addictions.
Bruce, do you have in your work a general perspective on, or a definition or a way that you look at addiction?
Well, basically what I have to understand about biology is that throughout evolution, biological systems are given information in response to how they deal with the world around them. We call them emotions, sensations, feelings, symptoms, etc., like that. One of the major aspects is this, is that nature has designed 2 senses of pain and pleasure as a way of teaching an organism to go in the right direction. In other words, we're smart, we go to school, we learn, cross the street, look both ways, and all that kind of stuff like that. But you got smaller, lower forms of life, animals that are moving through the world. How do they know where to go and where not to go? How to do the right thing to stay alive? Well, nature has endowed them with a sense of feeling. And the significance about that is we are given two completely opposite senses. One is pain and one is pleasure. When pleasure is received by an organism or perceived by an organism, it really represents that you're doing the right thing. And that's why nature encourages you, says, look, this is really good, go this way. But when you start to do something that threatens your survival or is really not supportive, we receive a sensation of pain. And that's nature's way of saying, look, this is threatening to you. This is, inappropriate behavior, whatever it is, do something different. And it's kind of interesting because in our civilization and throughout history, that was manipulated a bit by the original church, which looked at pleasure as negative and pain as positive, which is like complete turnaround of the table of biology.
Some confusing messages there.
Absolutely, but it really causes a profound conflict in our biology. When our biology is telling us we're doing something right, gives us pleasure, and then our psychology is saying, no, that's wrong, don't do that. Then we have a conflict between programming and biology. And so basically what I see is this, is that when we find ourselves in trauma and problems, we try to seek a way to get out. If you can't seek a way to get out, then you actually do some kind of other behavior or something else to lessen the pain. Because if you can't move and you're stuck in pain, then what are you supposed to do? Just live in that? Well, at our level of cognition and awareness, we can put in some other behavior and then actually override the current experience. So what we have to recognize is when people really are generally dealing with an addiction problem, they're really first trying to overcome some kind of pain in their life or threat to their survival or their existence, and then choose another alternative behavior. Unfortunately, the alternative behaviors don't necessarily take you out of the problem. So you stay in the problem, but even though you're trying to get mentally out of the problem.
Rule number 7 is acquire knowledge.
Knowledge is power, and lack of knowledge is a lack of power. When people don't know that they're involved with their own life and their own genetics and their own behavior because they're programmed to be the victim, then they become a victim because they have no knowledge of this. And what you're doing, what I'm doing, is let's wake up. You are powerful if you understand how this works. And if you don't understand how it works, you just say, no, it's not me. I'm not in control. And people walk away feeling like there's nothing I can do. The genes are controlling this, and I don't control the genes. I go, well, that's the story that's wrong. And when people are allowed to walk away from a medical practitioner with that belief, then that practitioner in no way has helped that patient, because the idea is this, as you said, I've got to help them get a better attitude when they walk out of this building. I have to give them more power so that they have more power, because if they walk out saying there's nothing I can do, then the game is over at that point.
Rule number 8 is protect the environment.
What is happening right now in the world and society that you see where things are ramping up, or are they? And why is it more important now than ever? Go ahead.
Okay. We're in the process of an evolutionary upheaval at this very time moment. And the upheaval is due to crises. And we see the crises around the world, whether it's economic, religious, racial, whatever you want. I say those are trees in a forest. And I say if you get back a little further away, you can see the bigger crisis is we are facing an imminent extinction of human civilization. And this is real. And the public has been made aware of it a long time ago and then sort of disappeared, that we are facing what is called the 6th mass extinction of life on this planet, which means 5 times there were previous mass extinctions. And the point about it, we always think evolution is one continuous, from beginning to end. It's like, no, it starts, stops, breaks, starts again, stops, breaks. And it's done 5 times. The last mass extinctions 66 million years ago, when the dinosaurs were here and a comet hit near Mexico, upended the web of life. And then all of a sudden, 75% of all species disappeared after that comet. But today we're in what's called the 6th mass extinction. And why we're bringing it here, Abraham and Tara, is basically because science has recognized for the last, 15 years or more, that human civilization, human behavior is undermining the web of life, leading to our own extinction. And just is there a number? I'll give you an interesting number. The World Wildlife Foundation in 1970 took a survey. How many animals on planet Earth? They recently redid the survey. 2/3 of the entire animal population of the planet has disappeared since the first time they did it. We're losing species of organism faster than in some previous, as I said, 5 mass extinctions.
Yeah.
Significance is this: human behavior has been recognized as the cause of this. We are undermining our environment, thinking that we are, in dominant and control of the environment. No, we are the environment. The grandeur of human thinking is that we can control and dominate nature. Is like, well, how's that working? The answer is facing mass extinction in the next few decades, period. So we have to change behavior.
Rule number 9 is practice repetition.
That's why when I say, in some of my lectures, I say, okay, how many people in here have read a self-help book? And all the hands go up. I say, okay, now how many of you, your lives changed after you read the self-help book? All the hands go back down. I said, well, what's the issue? And the issue is this. You educated your conscious mind, the creative mind, by reading a book. But the subconscious mind doesn't learn that way, and it's very important. It's resistant to change. Why? If I learned a habit, I don't want it to change every day. If I learned how to walk, I don't want to have to relearn how to walk all the time. If I learned how to do it, then fine. So that basically says then the subconscious mind is resistant to change. I say number 1.
So what happens? How does it do it? Like if you're sober a number of years?
I have to go back and say, well, how did you educate the subconscious mind in the first place? I go, first 7 years, hypnosis. That's what the brain was in theta. It was just downloading programs, bypassing consciousness. Our conscious minds did not filter the download of the programs and say good program, bad program. Why? Conscious mind wasn't working when the downloads were going. So I just got programs. Conscious mind wasn't even there. Doesn't even have any idea of it. So, excuse me. The next issue is this. Okay, your brain is in hypnosis for first 7 years, but your subconscious still learns programs after you're 7. I say, how does it learn it then? I go, habituation, repetition. Repeat the behavior over and over and over again.
Whether that's a healthy behavior or an unhealthy behavior, you'll learn a new pattern depending on what you practice.
Absolutely, because the function of that mind is to take pattern that is replayed over and over again and then acquire it. That's why, look, you want to learn how to drive a car? Practice how to drive a car. You want to go back to this one. This is learning our ABCs. Go back to your childhood. How long did it take you to get from A to Z? And the answer was, how many times did you start A, B, C, D, E? And then you repeated it, and finally you got to Z. What was the result? I never had to do it again. I habituated it because I repeated it over and over and over again. That's how I learned. How many times did I repeat the times table in school? Whatever issue on a job, I learned to do the job. I learned how to communicate. All these different things. So basically, how'd you do that? Repetition.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is live in harmony with nature.
If we understand what's going on, we can flow with nature instead of resisting it.
Yes.
And flow out of the chaos, which is not random, but taking us to the new world.
Right.
And therefore, if we can learn how to change our behavior and become more in harmony with the world, which is what nature is calling on us to do, then we can create a sustainable, thrivable situation. Right now, it's not sustainable. The system is crashing because we cannot maintain the way we have lived. So that means we have to change the way we live. And I go, yeah, but that's culture and that's behavior. And so it says you have to change behavior. Well, then we have to let go of a behavior to create a better behavior. And well, most people have to hit their heads against the wall and go through all this process. Again, what we've been talking about is, well, can I make it easier? And the answer is, of course you can make it easier. We can do psyche balance and change behaviors in minutes. And so we don't have to be part of the struggle in the chaos. We could already be at the new end, wait for the other people to come out of the chaos and join us.
In the year 2018, astronaut Dr. Bruce Lipton set out on a voyage to save humanity upon the assumption that Earth was dying and humankind needed a new home. However, just prior to launch, new studies emerged from Chernobyl, The once devastated landscape has regrown, nature has returned. Unfortunately, something went terribly wrong, and Dr. Bruce Lipton was sent into outer space. Many problems occurred, and Dr. Bruce Lipton became lost in the vastness of space. This is his journey. After 20 long years being lost in space, Bruce Lipton is finally coming home.
Oh, wow, what a welcoming sight. Look at that beautiful blue-green gem floating in the darkness of space. I'm going home. It's going to be great. Now, if I could just get this ready for re-entry. Mission Control, astronaut Bruce Lipton, coming back home from the outer limits with our beautiful rocket ship. Please come in. I guess, well, maybe they're just busy right now, but well, I've got such a great story to tell them when I get back. Oh, fresh air, man, being in that little can for 20 years out there. It's so wonderful. Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful here. God, just think of it, how much time I spent out there in open space looking for another place for us to live, another planet, and I come back here and look at this. It is so beautiful. I didn't ever have to leave. Gosh, when I left here, this whole place seemed to be falling down. Man, the environment was collapsing all around us. The rainforests were being cut down. People were destroying the air, the water, the land. Look at it now. Wow, these people have really created something new. Created something new. Well, that's not an accident. A creation is a participation. At that time when I left and the world looked like it was on its last stages, something happened. People must have learned how to change the world, but in order to do that, they first really had to learn how to change themselves. You really have to understand at some level, if we're going to create a garden like this, and somewhere along the line, we had to create the own garden in our own consciousness first. And that's where we start to come from reality. Humans have imagination. They can imagine a garden, but then humans have the ability to manifest. Recognize this, you have 50 trillion citizen cells living under your skin, a community that lives in harmony. If we really want to understand how to live in harmony, well, look within. That's where the answers are. How can 50 trillion cells provide for a happy, healthy human being? Because they understood the nature of community. It's a fractal universe, and fractal universe simply means this, a structure, geometry of the universe that represents as above, so below. Meaning, if you understand the structure at any level, you can understand it at any other level. And so if we really want to understand how to create this beautiful planet, then we have to recognize this. How did the cells do it in our body? Because 50 trillion of them came together in a community and learned to live in harmony and provide for their environment. But then if we understand how the cells did it, then we can understand how the people can do it, because we have to use the same principles, it's fractal, to change the planet and make it the garden that it has become right now. But then, of course, you can't get there if you don't know where you're going. So before we even embark on the trail, we must first visualize in our consciousness, what is it we're seeking? What are we trying to manifest? Where are we going? And once we get that picture in our mind, then we can become the artist to manifest that picture in the real world situation. And just by the looks of this garden, we obviously must have learned our lesson. And of course, where are these people? Where are these people? Hello? 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 You maniacs! You finally did it! You blew it up! Damn you all to hell! Whatever you're waiting for, be it peace of mind, contentment, health, it will surely come, but only when you're ready to receive it with openness and gratitude. Of all the characteristics needed for both a happy and morally decent life, none surpasses gratitude. Happiness and health are the just rewards for living in gratitude. Wow, I remember the first time I read that. I doubted that gratitude could give me health and happiness, But now I know differently. Igor, how sweet of you to remember my birthday. Listen, let me blow out the candles, make a wish, and then we'll have a party later. Ah, yes, another year would be wonderful. Ah. Well, you know what? That whole story that Ben Franklin told us about gratitude and health, well, it actually works. And now scientifically we know why. Because built into every one of our cells is the fountain of youth. What's the fountain of youth in the cell? Well, it's something called telomeres. Telomeres, they are special parts of the DNA. So when you open up the nucleus of the cell, the chromosomes come out, and there are 46 chromosomes, 23 from your mother and 23 from your father. But what is a chromosome? Well, what it is a sleeve of protein wrapped around a double helix of DNA. And the significance about this is the telomeres, as you can see in this picture of an X and Y chromosome, stained red are the telomeres at the ends of the chromosome. They're the ends of the DNA are. I say, so what is the telomere? It's extensions of DNA after the genes, meaning it's a part of the DNA that doesn't program anything. It's just extended DNA. Happiness and gratitude, now that's the big one. Happiness and gratitude means you love your life so much that you want more. So unconsciously, you will activate the enzyme to increase and enhance your life. This is also associated with a positive outlook, because if you have a positive outlook, that means you're looking toward a future. And again, feedback says then we're going to have to activate this enzyme to have that future. And the last two aspects that enhance the enzyme and give you long life are very important, and that is, again, having that self-love, appreciating yourself, which means I'm enjoying and appreciating my life experience. And when you're in love, that, of course, drives you to stay around even longer, and that will activate the enzyme. And lastly, and most importantly, is being in service, meaning you have something to do. And what the feedback of the system is says, I can't end now, I have to be here longer, I have something to do. And so being in service is one of the most important things to extend your telomeres and keep you around. And in conclusion, the information about telomeres and telomerase is very important because they represent the equivalent of a fountain of youth in every cell. And between your mind and your cells, the biology of belief reveals how your consciousness and your thoughts can extend your telomeres by activating telomerase when you appreciate life, when you have gratitude, and when you're looking for love and happiness on the planet, you can extend your life. So interesting, you're very powerful to change your life and make it one of happiness, joy, and health for a long, long time. I mean, the first step, the first one was so small and irrelevant in one sense, but so powerful, was I'm working on this going, oh my God, I've been programmed. And if I follow the program, it's a good program, great. But if it's a bad program, I'm going downhill. And I remember I was in my office at the university, and one of my faculty colleagues came in that day and said, okay, Bruce, what are you bringing to the faculty party on Saturday night? And I want to tell you, faculty party, might as well just kill yourself. You go there and everybody's sitting around with a drink, not talking to each other because they don't really like each other. But we work in this, okay? And I thought about that, and I thought, I work all damn week. Why should I go to a stupid faculty party and waste the entire time where I had freedom to create something I would love to do? Mm-hmm. So, it just came right out of my mouth. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was this weekend. I have other plans. I can't go this weekend. I didn't have plans, but I just said that. And he looked at me like, you're not going to the faculty party? I go, no. And he walked out. And the moment he walked out, I went, oh crap, I just got Saturday night for me. I can do what I want on Saturday night. And I started to say, what's next?
And it lined up.
What can I get rid of that I've been programmed that this is what we do socially, even though it takes away character, quality, joy out of life? And I started to eliminate them and say, wait, I'm creating this. I don't want to give up my creation because socially, this is what we should do. I said, I got my life, man. I want to live it. And I have been living a heaven on earth life ever since those days. Why? Well, with the help of my partner, Margaret, who I met at 50, so 40 is a kid's age, at 50, and she was quite aware of all the stuff that I talked about, we rewrote our programs.
Beautiful.
And we've been together, 26 years now?
Oh my God.
A honeymoon every day. I wake up, hey, I'm still alive. I've got a great partner. We have a great life. I work every day. I wake up, it's like, wow, I'm still here. I'm enjoying every day that I can get. It's called the honeymoon effect forever.
Wow.
How do you do that? I say, get rid of the programs that took the joy away and replace them with programs that give you joy. The subconscious mind is 1 million times more powerful and works 95% of the time versus the small conscious mind working 5%. I say, that's the one that's stressed. That's the one that's struggling. It says, I want something and I'm not getting it and I'm going to make it. And I go, you're trying to change the world when your own behavior was the one that was sabotaging it. And that's because you didn't see your programs. And like Bill, you engage these programs and you don't even know you have these programs. But then, as I said, well, if you want to see your programs, your life, 95% coming from the program. Your life is a printout of your programs. The things you like, as I said, they came in because you have a program to acknowledge them. But if you understand the things you struggle over are not because the outside is preventing you from getting there, it was your own invisible 95% of the day playing programs you didn't even know you had. And that's where the sabotage comes from. And yet we want to blame and fix everybody on the outside and think that we're just the recipients of all this without recognizing we're the creator of all this. And that sounds like, oh, so new agey. And I go, listen, quantum physics is the most valid science on this planet. And principle number one, quantum physics, consciousness is creating our life experiences. You want to change your life? You don't change the world. You change your own consciousness. The world changes after that. It's interesting because all the people that are here are in what is called evolution. Yeah. Everyone thinks, oh, evolution takes millions of years. I go, no, that was the old version. Because the new version shows that evolution builds up and then some cataclysmic event drops it and it builds up again and another cataclysmic event drops it. These are called mass extinctions. 5 of them have already occurred. The last one when the dinosaurs were here. The planet was lush, tropical forest, dinosaurs and everything. A comet, a big one, hit near Mexico. It caused the web of life to come undone. What happened? 75% of all living things disappeared, including the dinosaurs. That was the last mass extinction. Today we're in mass extinction number 6. And science says, well, what's causing this one? And the answer is our behavior is destroying ourselves and the environment. The illness that the planet is got a health crisis everywhere.
In other words,
blamed it on the genes, and it was like, no, it's culture.
In other words, when we are able to collectively change our behavior, we can avoid the 6th mass extinction.
That's the only choice we have, actually, and it will work. And who will be left? The ones that let go of the old structure and said, I will now put my life energy into building a new structure. So I use the story of a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. A caterpillar is voracious. It eats everything. You put a caterpillar on a plant, eat all the leaves off the plant. Then I say, then what? I say, well, when the food runs out, it goes into a chrysalis, a pupa, a cocoon, and then comes out a butterfly. I say the butterfly has the lightest touch. Doesn't even touch the plant. It's flying most of the time. The caterpillar is voracious, eating up everything. I say human civilization is in a caterpillar mode. We are eating up the environment. We're destroying the environment and everything like this. I say, but there's a point where we have to go into the cocoon. I say, why? You can't live this way anymore. I say, now here's where the issue that we just talked about. A caterpillar comes in, a butterfly comes out. I go, but the cells of the caterpillar, which are like miniature people, when the caterpillar was eating it all up, all the cells were working, the muscle cells, the digestion cells, everybody's working, all the cells are working, no more food. Oh, well, there's no more digestion. So what about the digestion cells? Oh, they lose their job because no more food. What about the muscle cells? No, we're not moving anymore. There's no place to go. And the muscles, I say, the community of cells in the caterpillar break down, make a soup of cells. And then what? And here comes the important part. some of the cells are called imaginal cells, and they have a vision of a different organization, a vision of a butterfly. So what's happening is the caterpillar cells are breaking down the community, but the imaginal cells are taking those cells and saying, wait, we built something better. We built the butterfly. Civilization is destroying the planet. We can't do it anymore. So it says what? You have to transformation. You have to go metamorphosis. You have to change from the voracious human civilization into a civilization that has a light touch on the planet. And so I say, so what it means? I say, well, in the cocoon, some cells are breaking down, some cells are being built. I say, which one do you want to be with? I say, don't hold on to the one breaking down because it's going to break down. Let go of the one that's breaking down. Put your energy, your effort, your action into building the better one that is coming. And so we're in the middle of this chaos, which is coming down and being built up. And I say, your health and your future is dependent on which one of these you want to hold on to. You want to hold on to the caterpillar? You're going to die because the caterpillar is death and the butterfly is life. And so we're facing at this moment with the breakdown, the jobs are being lost, the economy is crashing, the whole world is in a shaky. I say, in this moment of shaky, you have a choice. And I say, unfortunately, too many people, oh, I want the old one, give it back to me, the old one. I said, the old one is the problem. And you got to let go. And I say, you got to have harmony. I go, what's harmony? I go, vibration. What's vibration? I go, music. You're creating thoughts are vibration. That's when they put wires on your head. They read called the electroencephalogram. They're reading your mind. I said, what are they reading? Vibration. I say, so if you change the vibration, change the mind, you get another world. And therefore, vibration is the key element of quantum physics that determines if we're going to build something or we're going to take something down, depends on the vibration. So many people think when you die, you go to a place called heaven. I go, you didn't understand. We were born into heaven. This is where we came to create. This is where we came to experience. If you lose the body and go out there, you have consciousness. That's really great. I'm not saying it's not. But here's the opportunity to what? To manifest, make something, do something, experience something. If you then decide, I'm going to do it metaverse, I go, well, then you wasted all these beautiful receptors that were designed to have those wonderful experiences, to manifest them for real.
More powerful. They can do more.
Earth is heaven. And yet for most people, it's hell. I go, is it hell because you can't, because it's the bad place? I say, no, it's hell because your program that you got took away your creativity and programmed you to be the victim in a world that you're actually creating. So as a victim, you can create a world of being a victim. And the idea is, but if you're a master, then you can create the world of being a master. You are a great example of it. You did driving. Then you created the wine, and then you had the cosmetics or the candles and all that other, all that stuff. You took your mind and took it out and made creativity. What is heaven? What is it you want? What is heaven is a definition of what you want. I said, do you have to die to get what you want? I say, no, matter of fact, it's easier to get what you want when you're alive because this is where you can do it. So the big joke is everyone's thinking, oh, when I die, I'm going to go to heaven. And I'm going, Jesus, your whole missed the experience, man. It was here is where you created. Are you creating heaven or are you creating hell? That was a creation. And the idea is if you own it, like you've done, like I've done, like the people that you've interviewed on your program, they have taken over ownership of their creation. And they're creating the life that they want. And most other people are saying, oh, this is against me and my genes aren't good and this world and that and I'm a victim. And I go, sorry, folks, you missed the opportunity to create. Next time you come back, you'll figure it out maybe. Frequently I'm asked every day, how come you look so happy? And the answer is, I wake up happy. And why do I get this happiness? Where's it coming from? And the answer is this. It's another day on planet Earth. And what's so exciting about it is It's another day that I have no idea what's going to happen, but the greatest wishes and desires for some fun and excitement and a very joyous life. So I start off with, today's going to be a great day. And almost every day it ends up being a great day. Doesn't mean everything works right, but the beautiful part about it is I've really learned not to carry anything forward that is not really happy and joyous in my life. It reminds me of a story. 2 Buddhist monks are walking along, and Buddhist monks are not allowed to touch women at all. And these 2 Buddhist monks are walking along, and they come to a river, and at that river there's a woman dressed in her wedding finery, and she's crying because she can't get across the river wearing these clothes. So one of the monks just picks her up, carries her across, drops her off on the other side. Then the 2 monks continue walking. And about an hour and a half down the road, one monk says to the other one, "How could you pick up a woman?" And the one who picked up the woman looked at him and said, I dropped her off an hour and a half ago. Why are you still carrying her? And the whole idea about that is, the meaning of it is, when events happen in our life, it's not necessary to keep carrying them, especially if they're negative ones. You can just stop right there and go on to the next thing. It's a choice. Do I want to be in an environment where I'm not happy, or do I want to be in an environment where I am happy? Oh, choice? Well, obviously. But most of us have that choice, but are so caught up in conventional rules and conventional way of mannerisms and social structure that we hold ourselves in places we don't even want to be. And then we sit there in our mind getting aggravated by the whole fact of, I don't even want to be here. And I go, well, then guess what? Choice. Pick a place you want to be. Go to the movie. Go do something else. Break the pattern. And when you break the pattern is your moment of power. Because when the pattern is broken, there's new choices at that moment. But if you don't break the pattern, you're going to follow a litany of up or down, depending how you started off the process. The litany down, not a great trip, I'll tell you that. But hey, I think it's over 20 some years, I haven't been depressed. I haven't even been angry. I get upset by some things, of course, but it doesn't mean I hold them. I drop that person off on the other side of the river and stop carrying it. And this is the choice. It really is a choice. You have to think about it, because it's a conscious awakening at a moment that gives you a choice, that wakes up and goes, do I want to do this? And that's that moment of choice. You take that moment of choice, and then you say, I'm moving into where I want to go. You make a habit out of this because you repeat this. And then guess what? You don't even have to think about it anymore, because the subconscious program will always redirect you to the place you want to be. And the whole other world that we used to experience, that used to irritate us and aggravate us and all that anxiety stuff, it just doesn't exist. And it doesn't mean everything's going right. But the whole beautiful part about it is, well, if it doesn't go right, okay, stop now, let's go do something else. Because it's the idea, it didn't go right, and then why didn't it go right, and who didn't make it right, and where's it going to go now, and blah, blah, blah. And what are you doing? You're digging a hole, and it's not going up, it's going down. And the whole idea is choice. But the most important part of choice is you have to stop long enough, not get caught up in the program and play out the program. There's a moment while you're playing the program, maybe you can separate and look at yourself and say, why am I doing this? Because that is the moment of power. That is the moment where you can say, I have a choice. I can do something totally different than to stew in this stuff. And then you are a powerful person. And in today's world, we're told, don't go by the feelings. If I did, I would have probably been better off at this moment. So when we recognize we have to make a decision, we can do it in 2 fundamental ways. First, do an assessment, an analysis of step by step, what does this decision mean and why should I choose it? But when you get to the end, before you absolutely take that information and make a decision based on that, ask your heart. And the reason why is this: the heart doesn't care about the individual steps in the decision. The heart only looks at the conclusion. Either you get more energy from this decision, a good vibe, a feeling that this is right, or the heart will give you a feeling of bad vibes, less energy, a feeling that maybe this isn't the right answer. So the significance is really profound, because the heart just reads energy. And higher energy is more life, less energy is less life. So in making a decision, yes, it's acceptable to do the analysis, But before you come to that final decision, please check in with your heart. Feel the feelings. If the feelings are good, that means go toward that direction. But if you feel questioned about it, you feel weaker about it, doesn't just feel right, the heart is telling you right off that that energy is not good for you and you should use some other decision. Oh, wow. That's so wonderful. What a wonderful way to make a decision based on these feelings. And they can help us find the direction that we need to go in and lead us to a better life. Uh-oh. I guess that's not really working for me at this moment. Whoops. Oh, well. Computer, end simulation. Scotty, how many times have I told you not to leave me off at sea? You know I can't swim. Meet me at the bridge. You have some splaining to do. It's been a very strange year on this planet. Chaos is happening all over the place. And we're looking at this going on, what's going on with our world? It seems like it's turning upside down. The answer is, it is turning upside down. Now, that might be the bad news for most people, but it actually, for my insight, it represents the good news. You go, how could it be the good news that the world is so filled with chaos? And the answer is simply this, is that human behavior has precipitated the 6th mass extinction of life on this planet, which includes us. 5 times in the history, life was thriving on this planet, and some event like a comet hitting the Earth upended the entire ecosystem, wiping out up to 90% of life. This is the 6th mass extinction, and the source of this is much closer to home than a comet because the source of our extinction is human behavior. We are undermining the web of life, and as a result, there's a collapse of nature going on all around us. If we don't change, we're going to go extinct. I'm not talking 1,000 years, folks. I'm talking decades from now. So what you're seeing is a collapse of a foundation. Civilization is changing so rapidly. COVID has pushed it super fast. All of things are changing with the COVID. The way we work on the world and we commute on the world, things like that are profoundly different now, and we're moving into a different way of life. We are not going back to the old way of life. We are creating a new version. So when you look at the world falling apart, don't be afraid. Actually, be very joyous. Why? If it doesn't fall apart, extinction is right here in a few decades. If it falls apart, it gives us an opportunity to create something better, to move from here to there.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome. For 10 more amazing rules from Michael A. Singer, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
It's not just sitting in a corner and trying to enter some higher state of consciousness. Bring your awareness of being into the current moment and be present. It sounds good, but to me those are just words, and it doesn't really come all the way home.